Welcome to episode 11 of Tales from the Scamverse. This week's story is The Secret Order of Secrecy. I would tell you more about it, but it's, well, secret. We're sponsored today by Prince Be Gone. We remove your fingerprints for life so you can crime for life without getting life. Enjoy! I can't believe we got away. The best bank robbers of all time, I tell ya. And nobody can find us. We didn't leave any evidence. I even remembered not to leave my wallet with my driver's license this time. Genius! What?
We know you robbed the bank. Come out, Sticky Finger Stan. You too, Larceny Larry.
Hey, how did you know it was us?
Your fingerprints were all over the scene. Again.
Does this happen to you after every heist? Perhaps the problem isn't your fingerprints, but that police check for them. Or perhaps the problem is your fingerprints. But no more. Using Prince Be Gone technology, we make fingerprint evidence a thing of the past. But couldn't I just wear gloves, you may ask? Good question. Yes, you could wear gloves, but you have to keep buying them, and that cost eats right into your profits. And your hands get all sweaty. With Prince Be Gone, a one-time procedure eliminates your prints for life, so you can crime for life without getting life. Call Prince Be Gone today for an appointment, and if you're part of a criminal organization, ask about our discount group rates. That's Prince Be Gone. Call today.
Prince Be Gone and its subsidiaries are not responsible for lost fingers.
The Secret Order of Secrecy. There was once a secret criminal organization that ruled the underworld. The Secret Order of Secrecy, or SOS. The Order's headquarters were deep underground, in a network that linked the entire city, but nobody knew. I mean, how secret is that? Like, seriously, how would you even build all the tunnels and rooms under an entire city without anyone knowing? This group of criminal fiends took other more personal steps to avoid detection. One example is that each of the bosses underwent a specialized procedure that completely smoothed their fingertips and teeth. This procedure made them essentially invisible to fingerprint or dental record detection. The following is a recount of their first meeting after their procedure. The main conference room was large, with dark, wood-paneled walls. The lights hung low so staff could check for bugs, as secrecy was key. In the middle sat a lavish table for lunch, with each of the boss's favorite meals. Don Gecko, a short man in a gray suit, was the senior boss. He stood admiring a new stolen painting. Always early to meetings is what made him Don. Punctuality. Ruthlessness was a delightful bonus, but punctuality was key. The round doorknob to the conference room turned, yet no one entered. Instead, it flipped back into place. Again, the doorknob turned a little and flipped back. "Dang," said a voice on the other side. "Who is it?" asked Don Gecko. "You know darn well who it is. This stupid doorknob keeps slipping out of my fingers. Just open the door." Don Gecko crossed the dark chamber and reached for the doorknob, then paused. "What's the magic word?" he asked with a smile.
If you don't open this door right now, I will cut out your heart and feed it to my goats.
"Yes, Lorna, just a minute." Lorna, the goat, Winkleshire, got her nickname because she raised goats. Not the most exciting nickname, but accurate. Don Gecko put his fingers on the doorknob and tried turning it open, but the doorknob slipped back into place. It was really slippery, like covered in oil. "Hold on a minute, I'll try again." But the doorknob wouldn't turn.
Say, how did you get in?
Lorna asked. "Staff were setting up for lunch when I got here. They had propped the door open." The two kept trying and failing and cursing for almost 10 minutes when another voice called from down the hallway.
"Is the door locked?" "Hey, Bambo, not locked. Something's wrong with the doorknob."
Bambo Shrimp Delarsky loved shrimp cocktail. It was also one of those ironic nicknames, as Bambo was over 6 feet tall and wide as a building. Bambo gave the doorknob a try, but the doorknob started and then slipped back.
"Did you put in a maintenance request?"
"No, we just got here. Wait for somebody to let you in." Luckily, as Don Gecko spoke, a staff member came down the hall. Lorna and Bambo told her to try the doorknob, and she opened it with ease. Bambo swaggered into the room and saw a large platter of shrimp cocktail. "Bingo!" He ran to the table and was about to dig in when Don Gecko admonished him. "Bambo, we wait for everyone before eating. Manners!" The Secret Order of Secrecy was ruthless, but they had manners. The group passed the time by discussing their fingerprint and tooth smoothing procedures. Don Gecko worried the tooth smoothing would have hurt, but he was relieved to find it was quick and painless. He feared going to the dentist, but didn't tell the others, for a senior boss could not show fear. Lorna had forgotten about the fingertip smoothing and made an appointment to get her fingernails done this evening. She was pleased that the procedure went well and she could still attend her nail appointment. "It's amazing. I wasn't allowed to touch anything for 15 minutes, no gloves for 1 day, and apply lotion 3 times a day for a week, and that's it." She admired the almost glass-like reflection on the pads of her fingers. "They don't even hurt. Where'd you get the idea?" "I heard an advertisement on the Tales from the Scamverse podcast." Lorna and Bambo's faces flushed. True, they were criminals, shysters, and ne'er-do-wells. But admitting to being a podcast listener? That's even too much for this group of miscreants. The awkward silence was cut short by the sound of the doorknob turning and flipping back. The group laughed. "Yeah, I'll put in a maintenance request after the meeting." Don Gecko called through the door. "The doorknob is broken. You need someone to let you in."
"How do they let me in if the doorknob is broken? Has anyone put in a maintenance request?"
"Working on it." After a few minutes, another staff member happened by and let Mickey Soup McGillicuddy in. With all 4 members present, they were ready to start their lunch meeting. "Since we're running behind schedule and punctuality is key, let's get to..." "What now?" "Oh, I have an intern shadowing me today. Is it okay with everyone if she attends the meeting?"
"That's fine
sure.
with
We all
me."
start as learners." "Come in," called Don Gecko. A young woman wearing a simple black dress entered. She wore a camera strapped around her neck, held a small voice recorder in one hand, and a notebook in the other.
Hello, I'm Susan the intern. Thank you for letting me shadow you today.
Bambo showed her to a chair between him and Lalorna. You must have enjoyed the self-guided tour of our confidential file room. You were in there forever.
Yes, very interesting. Do you mind if I record this meeting so I can take accurate notes?
Susan pointed to her pencil-sized voice recorder. The bosses looked at each other slowly. Finally, Don Gecko spoke. You can record with that little recorder? That's amazing. When I was in crime college, I just had the old pad and pencil. I appreciate your attention to detail, Susan. I can tell you are going places. Where are you attending school?
Oh, I'm studying at the Federal Bureau of University.
Lalorna, who was nobody's fool, spoke next.
Really? I haven't heard of that one. Of course, before you record anything, I have to make sure you're not a federal agent.
Lalorna narrowed her eyes and held out her hand.
Pinky swear?
Susan didn't miss a beat. She reached out with her little finger and tried wrapping it around Lalorna's little finger, but it kept slipping off.
You keep taking your finger off. No, I'm not. Try again.
And again, Lalorna's finger slipped away. Susan studied Lalorna's nails.
I love your nails. Where do you get them done?
Lalorna, who took great pride in her nails, told Susan she found a wonderful salon at the Caveat Emporium.
Anyway, she's been trying to pinky swear. That's close enough. Does everyone agree?
That's
Works
fine.
for
That's
me.
good enough. Don Gecko began the meeting. I'll call this meeting of the Secret Order of Secrecy to order. First order of business, last month's meeting minutes. Any discussion? Oh, and that reminds me. Everybody, please meet our new transcriber, Max. Max, would you like to introduce yourself? Max, who had just entered the room, waved hello. He was a young, thin man in a black suit. He sat at a small desk in the room's corner. Hi, I'm Max, and I'm pleased to work here. My last job was with the Federal Bureau of Corporation, and I'm happy to work with you guys, and I'm definitely not a federal agent. Wonderful. Thanks, Max. Now back to the meeting. Is there a problem?
Yeah, the forks and knives are all slippery like the doorknob. I can't.
Mickey kept trying to pick up his spoon, but it slid out of his hand. He tried picking up his glass of ice water, but it also slid out of his hand and spilled into his lap. Cold, 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 cold. Bambo gave up on using his fork and knife and was trying to pick up shrimp with his fingers, causing them to spill everywhere. Trying a different tack, he slapped the back of his hands together like a seal, grabbed one shrimp, and tossed it in the air. As he tried catching it in his mouth, he barked, "Oh, oh, oh," and clapped his flipper hands. Everyone, settle down. We have a meeting to attend. I know you're hungry, but what the hell? Don Gecko had tried picking up his butter knife to tap his glass, but it slid out of his fingers, flew across the table, and knocked Mickey's soup bowl into his lap. Hot, 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 Mickey yelped. Lalorna was having no luck and gave up on silverware altogether. She tried using her long nails to pick up a strand of spaghetti and get it into her mouth when a flying shrimp knocked it off. Hey! Sorry! Bambo was flipping shrimp wildly. Lalorna asked, Has anyone been able to pick up or grab anything? Anything at all since having our fingerprints smoothed?
No, I haven't.
Really, no. Don Gecko, you idiot.
Why would you... I'm calling. Lorna tried picking up her cell phone, but it slipped out of her hands and landed in her glass of water, sparked, and died. Oh, darn it.
Got one! Yay!
Bambo showed a shrimp on his tongue and clapped his flipper hands excitedly. He bit down hard on the shrimp with his new smooth teeth, and the shrimp flew out of his mouth, across the room, and hit the light switch. The room went black.
Bambo! It's not my fault. My teeth are all slippery now.
How are we going to turn on the lights? Perhaps we can help.
Susan and Max paced to the perimeter of the room and found the light switch. The dim lights of the room returned. As the group's eyes adjusted, they stared angrily at Don Gecko. Don Gecko, though, had bigger problems as he looked across the room. Susan and Max stood there, now wearing badges for the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Nobody move. You're all under arrest. But you Pinky swore you weren't a federal agent, so it doesn't count. Technically, I didn't. Your finger kept slipping off. Consarn it. You people think of everything.
Don Gecko decided he would go down fighting. He reached into his jacket for his snub-nosed revolver. Unfortunately, it fumbled out of his hands, hit the ground, accidentally discharged, and a stray bullet careened straight into Mickey's leg.
Ow, 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 ow!
Bambo rushed to the door to escape, but only made a series of drumming sounds as he desperately slapped at the doorknob. Finally, the door flew open, but not from Bambo. A team of federal agents burst into the room, knocking Bambo to the floor.
Everyone stay calm. You're all okay. This procedure was a sham. You still have your original fingerprints and teeth. We only covered them with high-grade sliptanium. It will wear off in a couple of days.
Why? Asked Mickey, cradling his leg.
The fingerprints were to make sure we could safely apprehend you without your escaping. Mostly safely. Can we please get a medic to look at Mickey's leg?
And the teeth?
We just thought that would be funny. I mean, did you see that shrimp fly?
Agent Susan and Agent Max giggled. The crime bosses, despite their anger, couldn't help but laugh as well. And that's when everyone learned the value of friendship or something. The end. Thank you for listening. And as always, if you enjoy this show, please tell a friend. And I'd love to hear from you. You can send a message using the link in the episode description. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your hand on your wallet.